What's up YouTube, AUTOCON360 here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Dragon Ball Super S.H.Figuarts, Whis, and Beerus. So here we are, and there they are. This is going to be a dual review. I'm going to do both these figures in this video because Whis, we can go over very quickly because he's pretty much nothing from the waist down, and he doesn't have that many accessories. And Beerus is going to take up the bulk of this video most likely. So let's get right into it, and we'll take a look at the packaging. And here we have Whis' packaging right here first. S.H.Figuarts Whis. Nice picture of Whis there. Dragon Ball Super. Funimation, toy sticker. Continuation of the images on the side. Whis pictures on the back. Whis on the bottom. Whis. Yeah. And there you go. And here we have Beerus' packaging. S.H.Figuarts Beerus. Nice image of Beerus there. Dragon Ball Super. Toy sticker. Continuation of those images on the side. Beerus pictures. Beerus. And there you go. Alright, and with that out of the way, let's go ahead and crack these open so that we can take a look at what we get inside. And I figure why not take a look at Whis first. So here's his instructions, showing you all the parts he comes with. He comes with various sets of hands, his staff. It also shows you how to swap out the heads and how to apply the hands. And here's everything that we get with Whis. We have 3 heads, 2 sets of hands, 2 different right hands, and a left pointing hand. And of course his staff. So let's take a look at those heads first. Here we have our standard head for Whis. A little bit of a smile. Kind of a bored look, very Whis-y. And our second head here, looking off to the side, got a little bit of a smirk going. A little bit of sass. Again, very much in the vein of Whis. And finally, here we have his O-face. Just ate some good ice cream or something. But yeah, really good looking head. And in terms of hands, he comes with a set of fists, a set of staff holding hands, and then he comes with a left hand that is pointing. And then he also includes another right hand for holding the staff. And then another right hand that is holding a spoon. And here we have his staff. Nice translucent plastic here for the orb. I really think that's clever. With the blue around it to make the ring. It looks really cool. Nice clean gold paint over the blue. Yeah, looks incredible. And next up here we have Beerus' instruction sheet showing you all the hands he comes with, how to install his tail, how to swap out the hands, and how to swap the heads. And here we have Beerus' accessories. We have 3 heads, 3 sets of hands, 1 extra right hand, and his tail. So let's get a closer look at those heads. Here we have our basic stern head for Beerus. Very good, nice gold on the earring there. Just very basic head sculpt for Beerus. Looks great. Very menacing. Here we have our second head sculpt for Beerus. Again, very cool. Nice gold there on the earring still. Nice mouth, painted, teeth painted white, tongues painted pink, and the rest is black. Nice yelling face. And I do like also that they pin the ears back some. Bringing back the other head here. You can see that the other head, the ears are pointing straight up. This one, they're kind of cocked back a little bit, so it does look like an angry cat. It's a very good yelling face for Beerus here. And then finally, here we have my favorite face, which is the yawning face. Again, nice gold in the ears, nice closed eyes, big wide open mouth for the yawn, nice tongue. And that tongue is actually an insert, which is pretty cool. But yeah. It looks really good. And then in terms of hands, we do get a set of fists. And then we get some holding things hands, even though he doesn't come with anything to hold. I'm assuming this might be for Whis' staff, but we never see Beerus hold Whis' staff. But all in all though, nails are painted really good, so at least that's a plus. And they're also painted very well on the fist also. And then we get some Key Blast hands, which again, nails are painted very nice. And then finally, we get a kind of half pointing hand. Maybe he's asking for one more. Maybe it's a scratching finger. I don't know. I don't really use this hand. but still looks good nonetheless. And then finally we get his tail. And of course, installing the hands is very simple. It's your usual Figuarts fare. Just simple ball joint. And it's on. And it's the same thing with the head. Just very simple ball joint. Just find the hole. And it's on. And of course, getting him to hold his staff is no challenge either. Just simply slide it right in. And of course, much like with Whis, Beerus' hands are just as easy to install. It is just some simple ball joints. And it wants to fight me, of course. There we go. And of course, again, his head, simple affair. It is just a ball joint. Hopefully it won't fight me like his wrist did. No, it wants to fight me. There it goes. And finally, his tail is just simple peg and a port. Like that. And I figure we'll take a look at each one of these guys individually first. So, here we have Whis. A very cool looking figure, very good details on him. Nice gold trim on his little sash thing. Continues on the back. Looks good. He is wearing a traffic cone, which is annoying. But I mean, Whis doesn't really do that much movement in the show. So I guess it's okay. We really only see him tangle with Broly and then when he's training Goku and Vegeta. But that's about it. So this doesn't bother me too much. In terms of articulation, his head is on a double barbell, but you really only get movement out of that top barbell. And even that's a little tricky to get movement out of because his neck is on such a loose ball joint. It is very easy to move that neck. But again, that's actually really good because most of my Figuarts necks are really stiff. So I'll take what I can get, I guess. His shoulders are connected into the body with the ball joint. So you actually don't get a ton of movement out of it. They will go outward that far. You do have a bicep cut. He can only move his arms forward that far before they start banging into that and then back that far. You got a double jointed elbow. Bends in that far. And of course your Figuarts wrist here where you can change the axis of the movement and they're on a ball joint. He does have a ab joint. Out of the way arm. That will go back. Wow, that goes back really far. Let me see if I can get that. Yeah, there you go, back that far. That's really good. Won't go forward as much. And then that waist also helps in that bend, so he can do a really good limbo there. And not much forwarding with that waist ball joint. And that's really basically it with this guy in terms of articulation. He does have a ball joint connecting his hips up top to the upper skirt piece, but it's in this traffic cone, so you can't really make use of it, and one slight deviation from that can also cause him to be very unstable. So I just kind of find a sweet spot, which is actually crooked right now. I get it straightened out, find a sweet spot where he's balanced, and I leave it there. He does have single jointed knees up here as well, but again, that's all the movement you're going to get out of that knee if you want to use it at all. I would just recommend you just find a good sweet spot for him where he's balanced, and that waist assembly is, let me see if I can get the light in there. There we go. Where that waist assembly is straight, you can get a balance. There's some dust in there. But you can get him to balance. And he does also have hip joints in there, but again, I've actually never moved those hip joints because the ball joint that's connecting his waist up there is so much looser than the hips themselves. I've never gotten him to kick forward, so I don't know what the range on them are. I'm assuming it's limited to his skirt. But anyway, find a point where he balances, and just leave him there. His ankles will rotate a full 360. They are on a ball joint, but you don't get a ton of tilt or anything out of them. Can kick up and down a little bit. That's about it. You're really only going to get rotation out of them. And then he does have a toe joint. And then here we have Lord Beerus himself. Now, Beerus actually has an interesting running change going, or at least he did. this silver striping is not accurate to the show. I have found that, and even in his promotional pictures here, it does show the gold. Some figures were sent out with gold striping and others were sent out with silver striping. I don't know what the difference is. It doesn't seem to be a difference in where they were released. Like the Bluefin release didn't get silver, and just the Japanese release didn't just get gold, because this is actually an original Japanese copy. As you see by no Bluefin logo at the bottom, or anywhere. This is straight out of Japan. Only I bought it from a guy in New York who bought it in Japan. And it's actually interesting because in the promotional pictures for Whis, where he's shown with Beerus, in the full version of this picture, the Beerus that is in this picture has the silver striping like this one. So I don't know why this happened or what the difference is, but I do know that it's weird. Especially when there's no explanation behind it. It's not that it was a running change or anything. It's just that it happened. I don't know why, but it did. So an interesting fact for you, nonetheless. So let's take a bit of a closer look here at Beerus. If it bothers me enough, I'll find a gold paint that matches that close enough, and I'll paint it myself. But it doesn't really bother me. It still looks nice. But I mean, it bothers me a little bit, but whatever. But again, nice head there, nice little collar piece here, nice gold on the arms, very clean, of course, as to be expected from Bandai and Tamashii. Just get his wrist situated here. We do have a little bit of shading on the blue here. Yeah, we do actually have shading on those pants, which is definitely cool to see. It's very faint, but it is there. You can kind of see it going on there. It's a little difficult to get on camera because it's such a light fading, which is what I prefer. I don't really prefer dark fading. I think it makes it look a little bad. But yeah, nice shoes here. In terms of articulation with this guy, that shoulder stiff. The head is, of course, on a ball hinge. So you can hinge it forward that far, back that far. And of course you do get nice quizzical tiltage out of it if need be. And that neck is also on a ball joint. Nice gold on that collar piece too, by the way. The shoulders are a little limited because of these shoulder pieces here that continue the sculpt. But you can get them up, because that piece is on a ball joint, but it is also very thin, so I'm a little worried about it. But you can get his shoulders up that far, which is still pretty good. And of course, they will still do a full 360. But again, be careful of those corners because it may cause it to come loose and then go flying, which actually happened the first time I tried to shoot this review. You do have a bicep swivel. You have a double jointed elbow. You do have your usual Figuarts hinge wrist where you can change the axis, yada yada yada. Nothing new. You do have a ball joint at the diaphragm, so you can get him all over the place. You can lean him back that far. You can crunch him forward just a little bit. And then, of course, your waist is also on a ball joint, so you can turn his waist, lean him back some more, and of course lean him forward a little bit more as well. Ooh, that's ugly. A gap there. Oof. That's okay. Belt hides it. Tail. I can do a full 360 at the top of the tail. You do have a hinge there, and then it can also do a full 360 at the connection. It may try to work its way out though, so do be careful of that. You have your older style of Figuarts hips where they do pull down. So without them pulled down, he will kick forward that far, back that far. With them pulled down, you of course do get a little bit more range out of it, and of course a bit more backwards range as well. And you do get a thigh swivel out of that as well. Double joint knees look good, and his feet are on a double ball peg, so you do get a good amount of tilt, full 360, and he does have a toe joint. And for comparison, here we have him with the S.H.Figuarts Super Trunks. and they look really good together for the few times they were on screen together. Here they are with the S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball Super Broly. Here are the masters with the students, the S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball Super Broly Gogeta. And they look really good together. Probably going to take some pictures of Beerus fighting Gogeta at some point in the future. And then here we have the masters with just one student. It's with the S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball Super Broly Vegeta. And of course, Vegeta's really short. And finally, here we have them with the Mafex Deadpool. And I've just got these guys into some fairly simple poses just for some final thoughts here. Overall, really good looking figures. I'd say looking more so for Whis, but Beerus is definitely an excellent piece, and if you can find him for a good price, I definitely recommend that you pick him up. He does go on eBay for some ridiculous prices. Whis is pretty easy to get a hold of, not running you very much more than what he did at retail, so about $75. I believe I paid $75 for mine. Beerus is going to run you a little bit more, though. I paid $90 for Beerus. I did get a really good deal on eBay, though, for both of these guys. Not as a set, but if you can find them as a set, I definitely recommend it, especially if that set's for a decent price. Whis, you're probably going to have a better chance of finding out a better price because he was actually still available on BigBadToyStore until about Comic-Con last year. So with that being said, he wasn't a very desirable figure because, of course, he's kind of stiff. But Beerus definitely sold out quickly on Big Bad back in the day and is still in demand now, which is why people like to rip off scalps on eBay. But with that being said, I definitely recommend that you get your hands on these guys if you can. So with all that out of the way, this was the Dragon Ball Super S.H.Figuarts Beerus and Whis, and I'm AUTOCON360. Please subscribe, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All of that will be linked in the description below. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. And of course, as always, I'm AUTOCON360, and I'm saying, laters.